And welcome back this Sunday morning. I'm Paul Mueller. This week, our sheriff's roll call takes us north and west to Hernando and Pinellas counties to tackle what some might call a broken juvenile justice system. Let's take a look at this surveillance video. Look at that. Roving gangs targeting neighborhoods, breaking into cars. This is Hernando County. While in Pinellas, teens dying in violent crashes in the same cars they actually stole, often following a life already riddled with arrests and convictions. So what can deputies and detectives do? And equally important, what can you do, the public, to help solve the problem? Joining me to get some answers this morning, Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri and Hernando County Sheriff Al Nunez. Good to see you guys here this morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us here in the studio. Yeah, let's get the first question. You know, before we dive into our main topic, which we just talked about this morning, I want to get your reaction to the tragic murders of those two Kissimmee police officers. Sheriff.
I tell you, it's heart-wrenching. Any law enforcement executive who's had a line of duty death or has been to countless funerals for law enforcement officers killed in line of duty, you know how devastating it is to the agency, to the community, and of course to that officer or that deputy's family. It is heart-wrenching. That's all you can say about it.
And Sheriff Gualtieri, we not only talk about the police family, but we also talk about, I should say, we not only talk about their families, but the police family overall. We know that, you know, throughout the country we're talking about here.
Right. Well, you can't make sense of the senseless, Paul. And this is a case where you take a selfish person who didn't want to go to jail, and now he's leaving kids without a father and wives without husbands. It's a very tragic event, but it's because of a selfish person who decided that he's going to take somebody else's life, a cop's life, because he didn't want to go to jail. And you know, the system will work. And one of the things I was very glad to see yesterday is the governor reassigning that case from that state attorney up there, who's refusing to seek the death penalty even against cop killers, and that's wrong. So I applaud the governor for doing that.
All right, let's go into that other topic. We just saw some of that video that we played. The juveniles, often repeat offenders, they are out on the streets. They're breaking laws. So the question is, Sheriff, where has the system failed in this place?
Well, I think the system is meant for those children. The sheriff and I were talking about it this morning in the green room. It's meant for those kids that steal a candy bar, or maybe those kids that after prom steal a car and go joyride, and then they learn their lesson.
So what are you trying to say? It's outdated?
I would say that's a good analogy, is that these kids, and Sheriff Gualtieri can tell more than anybody, these kids have dozens and dozens and dozens of arrests oftentimes, and they're not getting the message.
And Sheriff Gualtieri, you've had two tragic cases. I remember covering one of them on the streets. You had the three girls, you know, who died in that pond, in that cemetery, right, 275. And then lately we had the three other teens in a separate crash, all in a little bit more than just a year. Right. What's happening here? Why is this happening? Most of them, grand theft auto convictions, we're talking about ages 13, 14, 15, 16. What is causing these kids to go out there and do that?
Well, 13, 14, 15, and 16 being arrested 15 and 20 times in a year. And you got all 6 kids that were involved in that incident a couple weeks ago, 126 times that they've been charged with crimes. So you got high recidivism among a small group. And the reason why it's happening is because when there's no consequence, there's no fear of consequence. And when you have no fear of consequence, this is what you have. And you got kids that are in a tough environment, is that they don't have parents that supervise them. They don't have mentors. They don't have people that are keeping them on the right track. And when that happens, and you mix that with the opportunity, then you end up with this result. So the system needs to do a better job of differentiating between the kids who just veer off the track, get outside the rails a little bit, and these prolific offenders who are out there wreaking havoc in the community. And they need to deal with these kids who are wreaking havoc more severely, and so that there's more consequence and there is less of an opportunity and more deterrent. So that's the problem, is that these kids don't fear it. Look at the article that's in the Tampa Bay Times today with Isaiah Battle. He says it well. In his own words, as a prolific car thief, this was too easy. He went to the juvenile detention center and he got out. And he said, this is no big deal. Listen to the kids out of their own mouths. The system's too soft.
Well, if I remember correctly, Sheriff Ninehouse, we'll get to you in a second. But if I remember correctly, Sheriff Gualtieri, one of the kids involved in that crash just a couple of weeks ago actually just got out a couple of days before. Is that right? Or am I?
No, of those kids is that 4 of them were just released within the previous 2 weeks, and a couple within the last couple of days from the juvenile detention center. Well, you know, some of them had been arrested on violation of probation charges and other arrests 15 times this year. So this is constantly in and out of the system. There's no consequence, no fear of consequence, and they have no qualms about going out and stealing your stuff.
So we hear about it, Sheriff Ninehouse, we hear a lot about it in Pinellas County. Not necessarily so, or are we just not, you know, hearing it on the news and from Hernando County?
Well, we absolutely have the issue in Hernando County, and what's frustrating and troubling for us is that oftentimes those young people, sometimes as young as 12. In a couple instances recently, we had 12-year-olds in the car, and they'll come from Pinellas County, South St. Pete, Clearwater, or they'll come from Tampa or come from Orlando. It seems like most of them recently that have been doing some of these serious crimes, like the one you saw with the Target store in the video at the beginning of the show, they came from Orlando and were actually followed back to Orlando by FHP. Since then, I think Detective Galarza at my agency has, through forensic analysis, has been able to charge them. But it's really difficult and frustrating for a law enforcement agency when they come from another county.
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to say. So they're not coming from Hernando County. Are you saying that they're basically saying, hey, we're from Orlando? Hernando County looks pretty good to me as far as it's ripe for the pickings.
Well, I think it's us. I think it's Citrus. I think it's Pasco. I think any place they can go to broaden their horizons. They'll steal a car. Sometimes we'll get them, and the person that they stole the car from doesn't even know the car is gone yet. And at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, they'll crash the car, and you know, we'll have to contact the owner in Orlando or St. Pete or Tampa, and it happens more often than you'd imagine.
Okay, you guys, the Hillsborough County, the new Hillsborough County State Attorney Andrew Warren just started out this program saying that basically the juvenile system is broken. Those are his words, and now he has this citation program in place, which basically says you pay a $400 fee, and after you pay that fee, basically the kid will get involved with the officer. Let's say they won't be arrested, they won't be charged, and if they go ahead and complete everything with the supervisor, with the counselor, with the parent, then they won't have that charge and they won't have that long record. The question, though, is, and I asked this at the press conference, is if they do have that happen one time, is that really a deterrent? Because in the cases that we're talking about here, this is happening a lot.
Well, again, we have to differentiate between the kids that are first-time offenders or even second-time. They're a little bit outside the rails, and these prolific offenders. It's 2 separate groups. And the system absolutely has to differentiate. And these programs, pre-arrest diversion programs, civil citation programs, absolutely work. We've run probably one of the most successful programs in the state for the last 15 years. And we have about a 94% participation rate for first-time juvenile offenders, and the recidivism rate's only about 5%. So they absolutely work. Now, one of the things that I didn't know and do disagree about is it should never be a pay-to-play. You should never have to pay a fee to participate in those programs because it causes disparity and it doesn't make sense. But juvenile diversion programs, civil citation programs, they work, they're good, they help kids get on the right track. We should be in the business of helping people succeed. And sometimes those criminal arrest records are an impediment to future success. We don't want to do that. But again, we're over here on the left side, and these are the 1, 2, maybe even 3-timers, these kids that can get help, these kids that can get on the right track, not the Isaiah Battles, not these prolific offenders.
30 seconds. Do the diversion programs work, Sheriff?
Absolutely. We have one in Hernando County that's been in place for a long time, and it's actually other juveniles that help determine the punishment for these young kids who get in trouble, as the sheriff said, once or twice. And they work great. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about kids that have stolen a candy bar or maybe even stolen a car. You know, they weren't thinking and made a stupid mistake. I think they should have a chance to learn.
All right.